Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Gadadha Shrivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shrivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Gauranitai, 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 Jai Gauranitai. Jayo Jagannath, Jai Jagannatha, Baladeva, Jai Sri Subhadra. Jayo Radha Vallabha, Radha Vallabha Se Radhe. Jayo Radha Vallabha, Radha Vallabha Se Radhe. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. Namaskar Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Satarashat Shri Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada ki, ISKCON BBT Founder-Acharya Śrīla Prabhupada ki, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki, Janitai Gaur Premanande Hare. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Śrīla Prabhupada ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 8, Chapter number 10, the battle between the demigods and the demons, verse number 9. Ustrai kechid ibhai kechid. Ustrai kechid ibhai kechid. Apare yuyudhu karahe. Apare yuyudhu karahe. Kechid gora mukhe rish. Kechid gora mukhe ksher. Kechid gora mukhe riksher. Dvibhir haribhir bhataha. Dvibhir haribhir bhataha. Ustrai kechid ibhai kechid. Apare yuyudhu karahe. Kechid gora mukhe riksher. Dvibhir haribhir bhataha. Ustrai kechid ibhai kechid. Ustrai kechid ibhai kechid. Apare yuyudhu karahe. Kechid gora mukhe riksher. Dvibhir haribhir bhataha. Anyone else? One more person. Ustrai kechid ibhai kechid. Apare yuyudhu karahe. Kechid gora mukhe riksher. Dvibhir haribhir bhataha. Ustrai on the backs of camels. Kechid some persons. Ibhai on the backs of the elephants. Kechid some persons. Apare others. Yudhu engaged in fighting. Khare on the backs of asses. Kechid some persons. Gaura mukhai on white-faced monkeys. Rikshahe on red-faced monkeys. Dvibhihi on the backs of tigers. Haribhihi on the backs of lions. Bhataha all the soldiers engaged in this way. Translation. Some soldiers fought on the backs of camels, some on the backs of elephants, some on asses, some on white-faced and red-faced monkeys, some on tigers and some on lions. In this way they all engaged in fighting. Those who have phone, if they can take out their phones, because we'll be reading many verses. There is no purport to quite a few verses. So it's a description of a battle between the demigods and the demons. And all these personalities are coming out with their respected chariots or vehicles. So, verse number 10 and 12. O king, some soldiers fought on the backs of vultures, eagles, ducks, hawks, and bhasha birds. Some fought on the backs of timingilas, which can devour huge whales. Some on the backs of sharabhas, and some on buffaloes, rhinoceros, cows, bulls, jungle cows, and arunas. Others fought on the back of jackals, rats, lizards, rabbits, human beings, goats, black deer, swans, boars, and boars. In this way, mounted on animals of the water, land and sky, including animals with deformed bodies, both armies faced each other and went forward. Next. O king, O descendant of Maharaj Pandu, the soldiers of both the demigods and demons were decorated with canopies, colorful flags, and umbrellas with handles made of valuable jewels and pearls. They were further decorated by fans made of peacock feathers and by other fans also. The soldiers, their upper and lower garments waving in the breeze, naturally looked very beautiful. And in the light of the glittering sunshine, their shields, ornaments, and sharp, clean weapons appeared dazzling. Thus the ranks of soldiers seemed like two oceans with bands of aquatics. Next. For that battle, the most celebrated commander-in-chief, Maharaj Bali, the son of Virochan, was seated on a wonderful airplane named Vaihayasa. O king, this beautifully decorated airplane had been manufactured by the demon Maya and was equipped with weapons for all types of combat. It was inconceivable and indescribable. Indeed, it was sometimes visible and sometimes not. Seated in this airplane under a beautiful protective umbrella and being fanned by the best of the chamaras, Maharaj Bali, surrounded by his captains and commanders, appeared just like the moon rising in the evening, illuminating all directions. Next. Surrounding Maharaj Bali, on all sides were the commanders and captains of the demons. Sitting on their respective chariots, among them were the following demons: Namuchi, Shambhara, Bana, Viprachitti, Ayomukha, Dvimurdha, Kalanabha, Pareheti, Heti, Ilvala, Shakuni, Bhuta Santapa, Vajradamstra, Virochan, Hayagriv, Shankhushira, Kapila, Megha Dundubhi, Taraka, Chakradrik, Sumbha, Nisumbha, Jambha, Utkala, Arishtanemi, Tripuradhipa, Maya, the son of Puloma, the Kaleya, and Navatakavacha. All these demons had been deprived of their share of nectar and had shared merely in the labor of churning the oceans. Now they fought against the demigods, and to encourage their armies, they made a tumultuous sound like the roaring of lions and blew loudly on conch shells. Balabhit, Lord Indra, upon seeing this situation of his ferocious rivals, became extremely angry. And the last verse for today. Sitting on Airavata, an elephant who can go anywhere, who holds water and wine in reserve for showering, Lord Indra looked just like the sun rising from Udyagiri, where there are reservoirs of water. Prabhupada has a couple of lines of purport. On the top of a mountain called Udyagiri are large lakes from which water continuously pours in waterfall. Similarly, Indra's carrier Airavata holds water and wine in reserve and shower it in the direction of Lord Indra. Thus Indra, the king of heaven, sitting on the back of Airavata, appeared like the brilliant sun rising above Udyagiri. So tomorrow they can continue from verse 26. I think the whole chapter has maybe few purports only. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuthapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Dam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuveva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine. As mentioned in the verse number 7, I think, of this chapter, very interesting statement is mentioned by Sukadeva Goswami when speaking to Maharaj Parikshit. He says, in verse number 5 actually, O king, a fierce battle on the beach of the ocean of milk ensued between the demigods and the demons. The fighting was so terrible that simply hearing about it would make the hairs on one's body stand on end. So it's a very terrible fight that's going to happen. What we have discussed are just some names and their vehicles, which can be lizards, buffaloes, cows, lions, tigers, and whatnot. But then later, the chapter later describes the opponents from demigod side and from the demon side. Even Lord Shiva participated, he had an opponent. Sons of Brahma participated, they had opponents. Headed by Kartikeya, and all the powerful demigods, they all participated and they had opposition, equally powerful demons, to a degree that they matched it so well. So whoever has similar potency is matching another demigod with similar potency. There is no mismatch in fighting like we see in modern day fight. A powerful country uses their own powerful weapons which the other country doesn't have. So only equals were fighting, and it's amazing when you read them. So we stopped in verse number 25 where it's spoken about Lord Indra. Even devotees, what to speak of those who have not much information about the Vedic culture, they have a lot of misconceptions about Indradev. And because we are students of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, in which a lot of nefarious activities of Indradev are criticized, so people start seeing very down upon Indra, that he is one of an attached demigod. But actually it's not true. How much effort the Supreme Lord is taking just to support Indra is a testimony to his devotion to the Supreme Lord and his position. There's a verse in Bhagavatam which is the most important verse of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, which is the Paribhasha Sutra of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, which describes the position of Krishna and the purpose of his appearance. Ete chamsa kalabhungsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Loke Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam has glorified Indra while glorifying the Supreme Lord, that when Indra and the other devatas, headed by Indra of course, are in disturbance, that same Supreme Lord who is Swayam Bhagavan Shri Krishna, he appears Yuge Yuge, millennium after millennium. And that's the glorious position of Lord Indra, which should not be mistaken. Now if we read Mahabharata from a general scholarship point of view, not from devotional point of view, you will see the position of Indra is practically glorified as the most superior position. All the personalities in the battle, they want to attain heavens and they want to go where Indra is. All the warriors. And they are fighting very hard to attain that position. But as soon as we come to Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, which right at the outset completely rejects anything that is not pure devotion, there you see Indra is criticized. Because Indradev, even though he is a great devotee of the Lord, he still displays some material affinity. He still displays some material contamination in his devotional service to the Supreme Lord. I was thinking while preparing for this class that how fortunate or how special these devatas must be, headed by Indra, that the effort in this canto we are seeing the Supreme Lord has taken just to grant them their positions back so that they can run the universe properly is immense. Starting from or not starting from, but Lord himself becoming Kurma Dev, arranging for the Samudra Manthan, the churning of milk ocean. Then he himself is coming and giving them all the ideas of getting Vasuki. Then he himself is suggesting them which side of the snake you hold. And then he himself comes out with the nectar as Dhanvantari. And then he himself becomes Mohini Murti to again support them and tricks them. And now, after in the previous chapter, the nectar is distributed with all the cheating the Supreme Lord could do, with all his illusion as Mohini Murti. Now devatas are in strength because they have taken nectar. And the demons are furious because they did not get nectar. They were cheated. And that's where this battle is happening now. It's a revenge battle now. Because they are cheated. They are really furious like serpents. Because they are badly cheated by the Supreme Lord and the devatas. So now these demigods are being attacked by these demons. Technically speaking, the demigods are now immortal. For that matter, immortality here means extreme strength now. They're very powerful. But still we'll see when the chapter continues how again they're defeated by the devatas and again they call out for the help of the Supreme Lord, and again the Supreme Lord has to come and support them and help them. So this continues. This is like the position of the devotees of the Lord, that the Supreme Lord has to come yuga yuga, millennium after millennium to protect. Even now, even though the Supreme Lord may not directly appear, he appears as his Sankirtan movement, his holy name, where the demoniac forces are opposing the existence of the Supreme Lord. But why Krishna does that? In many of his incarnations he appears to protect the devatas and the devotees, to re-establish religious principles. Is nice to know. We hear this very famous pastime in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam in 9th canto, next canto it will come, where a great devotee, Ambarisha Maharaj, is been attacked by a demon created by Durvasa Rishi. This devotee, Ambarisha Maharaj, he is a very powerful king. He is the king of the planet practically. Known to be a Vaishnava, a devotee of Lord Vishnu, who fasts Nirjala on every Ekadashi, just so that the benefit of his fasting can go to his praja, to the population he has, the citizens of his kingdom. Now Durvasa Rishi approaches Ambarisha Maharaj for prasad on Dwadashi, next day of Ekadashi. And of course, most of you know the pastime, but I'll just quickly brief that when the pastime is taking place and Durvasa Rishi goes to take bath with his thousands of disciples, it's time for the fasting period, which is the Paran time, to be over. And now this person, Ambarisha Maharaj, who has done Ekadashi fast, he wants the benefit of Ekadashi fast, not for himself, for his citizens. Now if he doesn't break the fast in time, which is an indication for us, many times we forget to break the fast in time. It is very important. For one to get the benefit of Ekadashi, they have to break the fast in time. So Ambarisha Maharaj was very concerned that I should break my fast on time. And then he consulted the Brahmanas there and they said, okay, drinking water is still okay. It's not considered eating food because your guest is here, and that too a rishi like Durvasa Muni. You must technically serve them and then eat first. It's very classic Vaishnava etiquette or just general etiquette. When we invite some Vaishnavas or devotees or Brahmanas at home, it's recommended that other than tasting salt, please don't eat. Feed them and then you eat. Kids can be fed before, that's fine. But so this same etiquette was followed by Ambarisha Maharaj. But to break his fast, he drank water. And Durvasa, through his mystical powers, figured that out. And he got so enraged just by king drinking water. He made a demon out of his hair to destroy Ambarisha Maharaj. Sudarshan Chakra, which was on the hands of Lord Narayan, without even Lord Narayan telling Sudarshan Chakra just left straight away. As soon as the demon was produced, killed the demon and started chasing Durvasa Muni. Who is Durvasa Muni? He is Ansha avatar of Shivji. He is not an ordinary rishi who became rishi because of his meditation and tapasya. He is Lord Shiva's incarnation for that matter. Sudarshan Chakra started chasing Durvasa to kill him. And that section tells very amazingly how Durvasa Muni goes to Brahmaji, Shivji, and all say, we cannot save you because you have enraged Sudarshan. He goes to Narayan himself, whose disc is Sudarshan, whose weapon is Sudarshan Chakra. Lord Narayan says, even I cannot save you. Why? Because you have offended my devotee. And he speaks very amazing verse that we'll just discuss a little bit on that today. In 9.4.63, you can repeat after me, it's a very beautiful verse. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Aham Bhakta Paradhino Hiya Swatantra Ivadvija Sadhubhir Grasta Hridayo Bhakter Bhakta Jana Priya. So Krishna is saying, Shri Bhagavan is speaking, Aham Bhakta Paradhino. I am completely under the control of my devotees. He Aswatantra Iva Dvija. Aswatantra. Swatantrata means independence. Aswatantra means I am dependent. I am not independent. So the Lord says, indeed, I am not at all independent. He's telling Durvasa, oh Brahmana, Vishnu Chakra Thakur in his comment says, oh ignorant Brahmana. Lord is telling the Durvasa Muni, oh ignorant Brahmana, I am not independent. Krishna is saying, I am not independent. Sadhubhir grasta hridayo. Because my devotees are completely devoid of material desire, I sit only within the core of their heart. And this is Prabhupada's translation, and literal translation is grasta hridaya. That their hearts are so filled with me. And my heart is so filled with them. Bhakter Bhakta Jana Priya. What to speak of my devotee? That is very superior. That is a very high position. Don't worry about my devotees. Even those who are devotees of my devotees are very dear to me. And that's where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Chaitanya Charitamrita also quotes this Gopi Bhatru Pada Kamale or Das Das Anudas. We are servants of the servants of the servants of the servants of the Supreme Lord. So here the Supreme Lord makes three very amazing points, three very powerful points that he's telling to Durvasa Muni. Because Durvasa Muni came to him for protection. And Lord is telling him, oh, you went to Brahma, you went to Shiva, you went to both of them. They both depend on me. So that's why they could not save you. Because it's my Sudarshan Chakra. Very interesting conversation between the two. But then Durvasa Muni says, but you are independent, you can save me. And that's where the Supreme Lord says, because I depend on my devotees, I am also not independent. So they depend on me and I depend on my devotees. In purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions also this point. And then this is the first thing, that I am under the control of my own devotees. Second, he says that I sit in the core of their heart. Not just as Paramatma, but as their object of love, devotion and affection. I sit in the core of my devotee's heart. And the third, he says, devotees of my devotees are also dear to me. What to speak of my devotees? So we'll analyze a little bit these 3 points today, how Lord reciprocates on these 3 levels. Ambarisha Maharaj, who was known to be the devotee of the Lord, the Sudarshan Chakra just could not tolerate this insult to the devotee of the Lord. And we hear in Mahabharata, in Bhagavatam also, how Pandavas were protected by the Lord, how Prahlad was protected by the Lord, how so many personalities we see are protected by the Lord when they are in danger. Now many times we see very senior, very advanced devotees, they may not get protected the way we see protection as, because their physical bodies may not be protected. But the Supreme Lord promises in Bhagavad Gita 9:31, Shipram bhavati dharmatma shashvatantim nigacchati kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashati. my devotee at once becomes righteous. He attains everlasting joy. Kaunteya pratajanihi. Arjun, you publicly go and declare, my devotee will never perish. But we see many advanced devotees, they do perish from the physical bodily point of view. But from the spiritual devotional point of view, they don't perish. And they don't perish even on the physical plane like a material, ordinary materialist. So here in Mahabharata, we see how the Supreme Lord has again and again, time and time, protected Pandavas because the Lord was under the control of Pandavas to a degree that he started acting like their servant. This is very inconceivable for someone who observes the actions of the Supreme Lord in awe and reverence, especially as Lakshmi Narayan. It's very difficult for them to perceive Lord acting as servant of Pandavas. It's very difficult. But in this is our verse where Lord confirms his mindset, his consciousness, his own heart. That how he practically is completely under the control of the will of his devotees. And he acts so humanly when it comes to his devotees' desires. As Paramatma, he is seated in everyone's heart. As object of devotion and love, he is in everyone's heart. Which is our second point, that I sit in the core of the heart. They were in 10th canto, in 86th chapter, we hear this pastime of two personalities, Shrutadev and Bahulasva. You heard these names before? Shrutadev and Bahulasva. So Lord was in Dwaraka and these two personalities were in Mithila, which is quite far from Dwaraka. They were so absorbed in their daily worship of their deities that even though they knew their Lord, whose deity they are worshipping at home, is in Dwaraka, they did not have time to go and see the Lord in Dwaraka. They were so busy and so focused on their worship of the deities at home. So this Shrutadev was a very poor Brahmana. And this king, Bahulasva, was a very powerful king, but least bothered about encroaching other kingdoms because he was so busy in his deity worship, his devotion at home. Now Lord, who is seated in everyone's heart, and in the core of Lord's heart these devotees are seated, they could not come and meet the Lord in Dwaraka. Lord made arrangement that he went to Mithila and he went to see them. So when he entered and these two devotees found that the Lord has come, they both ran outside the city area to receive the Lord. And it's very, very interesting, very moving, very emotional description there. When they saw the Lord, they both they had tears in their eyes and they requested the Lord, please visit our home. And Krishna, who is the king of Dwaraka, who is just visiting this city, Krishna thought to himself, I cannot say no to them. He was so much controlled by their devotion that even without his will, he agreed, okay, I'll visit your home. But now, what he decided, Krishna is traveling with 12 different powerful sages, Vyasa, Sukadeva, all these personalities. Krishna told all the sages, now you also expand exactly in the same form as one more copy of yours. So Krishna, along with all the sages, they all expanded into two and they simultaneously went to these two devotees' houses. So both of them thought Krishna came to our place, but to fulfill their desire, Krishna simultaneously went to both the places at once and fulfilled these devotees' desires. So the Lord does that. He purposefully does that. And we'll see towards the end how he, in chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita, how exclusively he speaks about his devotees. And actually just by hearing these verses, it appears this person is very partial. Krishna is very, very partial personality. Just if you read these 3 verses in continuation, anyone will say is very partial towards his devotees. And that's the glory of the Lord. Third one, when the Lord says, I prefer you becoming devotee of my devotee, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentions in that indirectly the Lord is telling Durvasa, you just go and become devotee of Ambarisha and that will save you. You just go and become. And Durvasa Rishi is very powerful personality. Ambarisha was actually worshipping him, and that's why he wanted to serve him along with his assistants. But the Lord is implying here, if you want to save yourself, you just go and become devotee of Ambarisha. Narottam Das Thakur makes a very interesting statement. He says, Chhadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistara Paye Chekeba. Without becoming a devotee of the devotee, one cannot be released from material entanglement. One can do whatever devotional practice one wants, but until one becomes devotee of Krishna's devotee, there is no way out. And for us, what that means is, unless we become ardent devotees of our own spiritual master, we cannot escape the clutches of material nature. Prabhupada in that purport says, it is better, it's a very strong statement. Prabhupada says, it is better to follow the instructions of the spiritual master than follow the instructions of Krishna. In the last line of that purport, Prabhupada says, it's better you follow Guru's instruction instead of following Krishna, even though they are same. There is no difference between the two. But to put the point across strongly, he does that. And we see how when Supreme Lord is coming again and again, just to save the devatas who are, at least from Bhagavatam's point of view, materially contaminated, how much effort Krishna will put to save his pure devotees Pandavas. How much effort he must have put. If someone reads Mahabharata from the viewpoint of Krishna protecting Pandavas, it is unbelievable how many rules Krishna broke just to save the Pandavas. How many times he has cheated, lied, broken set rules to save the Pandavas. One classic example I'll give at the time of Jayadratha's killing. We'll just describe the battle a little bit because it's battle going on, so that mood continues. This is on the 12th day of the battle. On the 12th day of battle, Duryodhan goes to Dronacharya and insults him, started insulting him, that you are a very partial fighter. You are purposefully not fighting with your favorite student Pandavas fiercely, and you are being biased. So you should do something about it. Dronacharya became so upset. He felt so insulted that he told Duryodhan, I will create a formation, a plan, a strategy in such a way that tomorrow a very powerful warrior will die. And he plans in his mind, it has to be Abhimanyu. I will kill Abhimanyu, I'll make a strategy to kill Abhimanyu, because if Abhimanyu dies, Arjun becomes very, very weak. And he will not be able to fight with his full vigor. And then it's easy to conquer Pandavas. So he plans in a way that they will misdirect or basically redirect Arjun's course of fighting to a complete far place. So they arranged a whole army, of set of army and certain soldiers who basically took Arjun in complete different directions. And these particular soldiers were really creating a lot of trouble for Pandav's army. So when they went to the different direction and Arjun was completely off track, then they utilized the boon which Jayadratha had received from Lord Shiva. Now Mahabharata has story in story, story in story. Many times I say, Mahabharata is like watching YouTube. You see one video, but there are other 10 videos connected. And you go, and then you forget which original video you started your journey with. Because it's so interconnected. There are so many stories intertwined in Mahabharata. Now this Jayadratha, when the Pandavas were in exile, he tried to assault Draupadi. Already poor Draupadi was being harassed in the assembly when they tried to disrobe her. Now after they went to the exile, you can just sit, Prabhu, Hare Krishna, just sit, that's okay. Thank you. After the attempt of disrobing Draupadi, when they went for exile, the Jayadratha came, because Draupadi was very, very beautiful, extremely attractive. Jayadratha came and tried to assault Draupadi. He tried to kidnap her. So Arjun and Bhim caught Jayadratha. Now Jayadratha is none other than their own brother-in-law. So if they kill Jayadratha, their own sister becomes widow. who is Duryodhana's own sister and their also sister. So Yudhishthira said, we cannot do this. You cannot kill your brother-in-law and you make your own sister widow. So don't kill Jayadratha. But then they came up with the idea that they will shave him and only leave hairs at 5 places, which is very insulting, And these are powerful Kshatriya warriors. They really had grooming people. They really had servants who would groom them regularly to make them look very attractive. Their hairs were combed, maintained very nicely. Now they shaved him and they only left 5 spots of hairs. Jayadratha decided, I am not going to my kingdom again because I am as good as dead. He went and started doing his tapasya to please Lord Shiva. The Lord Shiva appeared in front of Jayadratha and Jayadratha said, give me a boon that I can defeat 5 Pandavas together. Lord Shiva says, impossible. That's not possible. But I can give you a boon that you can at a time defeat 4 Pandavas without Arjun, because you cannot defeat Arjun. He is protected by Narayan. So then Jayadratha was very happy. So they utilized Jayadratha on the day 13th, that actually on day 13th, that Jayadratha would stop these 4 Pandavas when Arjun is distracted and they would kill Abhimanyu. So Dronacharya came up with a strategy where every day in the battle they would create different vyuha. Vyuha means different formations. This particular day they created a formation or a vyuha called Chakra Vyuha. Now Chakra Vyuha was so complicated formation of armies that a soldier or a warrior needs to know how to penetrate, destroy and come out. Abhimanyu only knew how to enter. He did not know how to come out. When he was in the womb of his mother, one time Arjun was explaining this story to his mother. And his mother slept halfway through. So Abhimanyu, as a baby in the womb, only heard how to go in. He did not hear how to come out. So Yudhishthira asked, anyone knows how to smash this chakra view? Abhimanyu, a very powerful warrior, said, I know. So okay, Yudhishthira said, we promise you, we will be behind you, we will protect you. You enter and destroy it within and come out. Otherwise, they will capture me today and the battle is over. Now Jayadratha had this boon no one knew. So Abhimanyu broke the vyuha, he entered, and these 4 warriors, Bhim, Yudhishthira, Nakul and Sahadeva, were following Abhimanyu, trying to enter the vyuha. And here comes Jayadratha, who is the villain of the day. And he stops. Poor Abhimanyu goes in, all the powerful warriors kills him that day. Abhimanyu dies a very powerful warrior's death. He killed 1 Akshoni Sena in one day. He was so powerful that he killed almost 1/10 of army of Kauravas in one day. Just in one day, he killed 1/10 of the army. They had 11 Akshoni, so he smashed 1 Akshoni, almost 1/10 in one day. And when he was killed, they were very joyous because they knew this will break the morale of Arjun. Now Arjun came, it is a very moving scene, like he is just crying like a baby. But then his Kshatriya fierce nature comes out. Krishna is trying to console him. And he finds out, because of Jayadratha, this all happened. Arjun takes a very, very, very odd vow. Arjun says, if I don't kill Jayadratha tomorrow by sunset, I am going to enter, first he says, I am going to enter those regions of hell where the most sinful people go. He says, where the rapist goes, where all the murderers goes, where the killer of Brahmana goes, I will enter that region of hell if I can't kill Jayadratha tomorrow till sunset. And then he says, also I promise, if I can't kill Jayadratha, I will enter fire. Now if you say I enter hell and all, it's a post-dated check. When he dies, he will go. So there is no benefit for the Kauravas. When he said, I will enter fire if I can't kill Jayadratha, the secret messengers who were spread around from the opposite side, they heard this and they ran towards the Kaurava side and told them, tomorrow Arjun is entering fire because he will not be able to kill Jayadratha. They were very excited. So Dronacharya, they all came together. Then Krishna came to Arjun, he said, why do you take such rash vows always? Why don't you consult with me? Why don't you think before taking these vows? Now here the devotion of the Supreme Lord for his devotees comes in place. You know what Krishna tells Arjun? Don't worry, I'll help you to keep your vow. Then Arjun says, you know why I take such vow? Because I know you are with me and you will make it happen. I am Arjun, the Gandhi carrier. I am so powerful, but I am with you. Definitely you will help me keep my vow. This is how subservient Lord works. He is not disowning Arjun because he has taken a vow now without consulting him. That you didn't consult me, now get lost. No, you are mine, I am yours, your vow is mine. This is exactly what we see in Mahabharata throughout. Arjun has multiple times taken certain vows. Krishna chastises him. But every time Krishna comes in his support. And that's where Krishna sounds very biased and partial towards his devotees sometimes. So, now Arjun's vow is that this is what will happen. Now they plan, and Krishna, to cheer up Arjun, blew his conch shell. Very interesting scene. Now, see, they are living in their camps. So the Kauravas who had already heard this is going to happen, they became so scared that they were supposed to be crying, but here they are jubilant, blowing conch. And then their secret messengers comes and says, Arjun will kill you tomorrow. Now Jayadratha wants to run away. So Dronacharya, Duryodhana, everyone assures him, tomorrow we'll protect you. So next day in the battle, you'll be shocked how they were planning to protect him. Jayadratha was placed almost 40 miles away from Arjun. So morning sunrise happens, the battle begins. Till sunset he has to kill. On a chariot, if a person has to travel 40 miles, which is almost 60 kilometers, it will take almost half a day with no obstruction, straight traveling. Here Arjun has to cross the most ferocious, powerful warriors existing on the planet that time, with millions of soldiers in between. Killing them, he has to cross 40 miles. So that's the formation. I'll just read one part of the formation, you'll be shocked. Dronacharya created a formation which is like a needle. I don't know the Sanskrit vyuha, but needle formation. It has 100,000 horsemen. It's not even mentioning the soldiers on the ground. 100,000 horsemen, 60,000 chariots, 20,000 infantry, and 14,000 elephants. This is one formation which is led by Karna, which is immediately next to Jayadratha. Then there is similar formation which is ahead of it, led by Dronacharya. Then there is third formation ahead of it, led by another warrior. Then there is fourth formation ahead of it, led by another warrior. And Arjun, when he came in the morning and he saw, my God, this is what I have to cross? To kill Jayadratha, he looks at Krishna. And Krishna assures him, but Arjun is so furious because of death of his son, that it says, in first 45 minutes only, he killed 60,000 soldiers. He was so angry that day. Arjun was so angry, he was just non-stop killing in the battlefield. When Dronacharya was making this formation, he made a comment. Even though he was doing his duty of making this formation, he made a comment. He said, do you know, Arjun and Krishna are together. We are making this 40-mile long formation for them to cross. But don't you know, they both crossed the whole material universe and went to Paravyoma when they went to see Mahavishnu. So what is difficult? But he was still doing his duty. And in his mind, he said, tomorrow Jayadratha is dead. He cannot survive. He cannot survive Narayan and Arjun together. The force they are coming with. Now, this is chapter after chapter of their fight, but it's very interesting read. Actually, it's worth reading. It's just so entertaining if someone is keen on such subject matter. How so many obstructions were coming. That day itself, Bhima killed 30 brothers of Kauravas. 30 Duryodhana's brothers were killed that day. They all were very upset because Abhimanyu was unjustly killed by 7 warriors. And when he was tired and fatigued, finally Dushasan's son came and stabbed him with a sword and killed him. So they were very upset. This is so unfair you have done. Now they were fighting, they were going. Towards the end, half day has passed through. Still he is 20 miles away, Jayadratha. And every time they're checking time, and Krishna is telling, Arjun, you can't waste time here. Don't get emotional, keep moving, keep moving. Half an hour left, 2 hours left, half an hour left. So now when half an hour was left, Dronacharya saw Arjun approaching Jayadratha and he told Duryodhan, now you go and fight. Duryodhan is a very powerful warrior actually. You know what Duryodhan said? Are you crazy? I will never face Arjun. I will never face Arjun. Can't you see how angry he is? I'm not going in front of him. You know what Drona says? On a normal day, I will never put you in front of Arjun also. But today the problem is we all are distracted. You are the only one in front of him and it's your duty as a Kshatriya to go and face him. Duryodhan outright rejected, no, I am not facing him. I will not face him. He's so angry. So Dronacharya gave him an armor. He said, I'll give you an armor. No one in the three worlds, no devatas, no gods can penetrate this. So he gave him the armor through mantras. Duryodhan took off his metal armor and that mantra armor he was wearing. So Arjun was shooting arrows. It was falling as if the arrows are shot by a child and it's nothing happening. And Duryodhan would shoot many arrows and it would injure Arjun. So Krishna looked at Arjun and said, are you tired? Are you weak? Because this is the only day in battle where Arjun didn't take any break. He was just killing. So Arjun said, I don't know. I just want to kill this rascal. He is the main cause of all the problem, but nothing is happening with my arrows. What to do? Then Arjun thought, hang on. I know Dronacharya has this powerful armor which is hard to penetrate. Krishna says, yes, I also know that. He is wearing an armor, you have to penetrate it. And you see the skill of Arjun. Few 100 meters away is Duryodhan standing. And Arjun shoots an arrow to penetrate this armor because when they wear armor it covers your fingers and the tips are exposed. The whole armor is covered, body is covered, the main organs are covered but your tips are exposed. He shoots an arrow which enters between the nail and the finger. That precision. That's where the arrow goes. And then Duryodhan drops, shouting in pain because the arrow entered his nail and finger in between. And he drops and then Arjun moves forward. And when Krishna sees only half an hour there and Jayadratha is still 2 miles away. Like imagine 2 miles, you can't even see that far, but they can see through the flags which warrior is where. Through the flags they judge. Now Krishna tells Arjun, don't worry. I'll cover the sun and you be prepared. So his Sudarshan Chakra leaves and he covers the sun. And it becomes dark. Now it's sunset because there is no sun. So the warriors ahead of Arjun, they all drop their weapon. They're so excited, they're happy, they're jumping up and down. And Krishna tells Arjun that be careful, Jayadratha's father is a sage. He has given a boon that whoever kills Jayadratha and whoever cuts his head, if the head falls on the ground, wherever the head falls, means whoever makes his head fall on the ground, that person's own head will burst and crack into pieces. So he says, Arjun, that so-called sage himself is a demon who has given this boon to his demoniac son. You shoot the arrow in such a way that the head of Jayadratha goes in the lap of his father who is meditating. So Arjun shoots an arrow 2 miles away in such precision that Jayadratha's heads get cut because just before that Krishna removes the Sudarshan Chakra and it's day again. Sun is out. So the arrow goes, it cuts Jayadratha's head and it goes in the lap of his father. So he is meditating and he opens his eyes. Hey, he says, whose head is it? And he drops it to the ground. Because the boon was, whoever drops your head to the ground, his head will burst into pieces. So the father itself blew up. Because he did that. He threw the head on the ground. And that's how Krishna protected Arjun in his vows as a order carrier. we see again and again in Mahabharata, in so many occasions. They're just. So I'll just read these 3 verses and we'll stop with that. How Krishna sounds so partial and biased towards his devotee. This is the 9th chapter, starting from verse number 29. I envy no one. Samaham sarva bhuteshu, very famous verse. I envy no one, nor I am partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also friend to him. Even if, verse number 30, even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service to me, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. Even if he has committed most abominable action. And then Krishna says, he quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. So this is Krishna's promise. And that's where in this Leela, current pastime which is going on, we see Krishna going out of his way again and again to support the devatas. With that, I'll stop. If any questions or comments anyone has, we can discuss. Okay. Hare Krishna. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.